My name's Richard. I'm 50 years old, or I guess I was when everything began to fall apart. If you're wondering how a guy like me ended up walking away from his family without saying a word, it wasn't because of one big event. It was a slow build. You've heard the story about how a frog jumps out of boiling water but sits still if it heats gradually. That was me, sitting in the pot for years, decades even. And I didn't even realize how hot it had gotten until someone handed me a paper crown that said King of Letdowns in front of everyone I loved, or thought I loved. Let me go back. I'd been married to Marlene for 27 years. We met in college. She was bold and loud, and I was the quiet guy who could fix your laptop and grill a great steak. A few years after graduation, we had our daughter, Olivia. She was the center of my world. I wasn't the perfect dad, but I was present. Every dance recital, every fever, every move-in day at college. I was there. I worked in IT. A stable job I didn't love but stayed in because someone had to keep the lights on. Marlene stayed home, later got into essential oils, and eventually ran a Facebook group about women's empowerment, which mostly turned into gossip and Bible quotes with a passive-aggressive twist. We had a suburban house, 2 cars, and a dog named Max. On paper, we looked perfect, but inside, things were wearing down. Marlene started interrupting me a lot, as if what I said didn't matter. At first, I brushed it off. That's just her, I told myself. But then came the jabs. If I took a nap after work, it was, must be nice to rest when you've done the bare minimum. If I forgot the milk, you had one job. Always said with that half smile that made me question my own feelings. Olivia picked up on it too. She'd roll her eyes when I gave advice. At family meetings, my suggestions were ignored until someone else repeated them louder. I wasn't a victim. I was just invisible. So when I turned 50, I wasn't expecting much. Maybe dinner. A small cake. Just one evening to feel noticed. Instead, they threw a surprise party at our house. Marlene's book club, Olivia's friends. Even my brother, Jeff, came. He only shows up if there's free booze. There were balloons, streamers, a Happy 5-0 banner, and a grill loaded with ribs I was apparently supposed to cook. No one asked me if I wanted to spend my birthday grilling, but I smiled. I always smiled. The crown came out halfway through. Olivia's idea. Paper, glittery red and gold, with the words, King of Letdowns, in thick, sharp letters. Everyone laughed. Marlene clapped like it was hilarious. Jeff leaned over and said, Damn, bro, that's cold. But kind of true, right? I laughed too, tight, forced. After I finished cooking, I was asked to take the group photos. Dad, get one. Of us, Olivia called. Another one! Make sure everyone's in it! I wasn't in a single photo that night. Not one. Then someone joked, Make a wish, Rick. Wish for a personality. More laughter. I gripped the knife to cut the cake, but smiled again. Later that night, after everyone left, I was still cleaning. Marlene was on the couch, scrolling her phone. I asked her, Did you really think that crown was funny? She didn't even look up, just said, It was just a joke. You're so sensitive lately. That night, after she went to bed, I sat in the dark, staring at a blinking cursor on a travel site. I didn't know where I was going, just that I had to go. I booked a one-way ticket to a small Oregon town I'd visited once on a work trip. It was quiet, green, and had a diner with the best peach cobbler I ever tasted. I didn't pack much. Some clothes, a laptop, a few books, and Max. Yeah, I took the dog. No one even noticed I was gone. I left a note on the counter. I need to go. I don't think I've ever really been happy. Take care of yourselves. Richard. I left my house key next to it. 2 weeks later, I saw Olivia's Facebook post. A photo from her graduation, one of the rare ones where I was actually in the frame. Her caption said, "If anyone sees my dad, tell him we're sorry. We didn't realize how much we took him for granted. We just want him home." The comments were full of sympathy. He always seemed so quiet. You never know what someone's going through. Even Jeff commented, "Man, I miss my big bro. Hope you're okay." The same guy who laughed hardest at the party. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't feel anything, but because I felt too much. What they didn't know was that leaving wasn't the end. It was the beginning. I wasn't disappearing. I was planning something. Sitting in that Oregon diner, eating peach cobbler, watching rain slip down the window, I felt something click. I wasn't going to let them get away with it. I started writing, not just journaling, really writing. I listed everything. Every time I bent over backward for them. Jeff's debts I paid off. Helping Marlene's mom into a nursing home. Co-signing. Olivia's car loan. All of it. And the crown, the cake, the joke I was supposed to laugh at. I had receipts. Literal receipts. Emails. Bank statements. Screenshots. I knew what to do with them. But that's for later. Because just as I began to feel free, something else happened. Something I didn't expect. That's when things really started to spiral. 2 weeks into my self-imposed exile, I found a rhythm. Early mornings, walks with Max, coffee that didn't taste like burnt resentment, writing, reading, sleeping. For the first time in years, I wasn't faking smiles. The town, Ashbrook, was tiny. One street, a gas station/bait shop, Rosie's Diner, where the jukebox only played oldies. I rented a studio above an antique shop from a retired mechanic named Daryl. He didn't ask questions, just gave me the key. Then I got the email. Subject, urgent about Dad. It was from Olivia. I stared at it for hours before clicking. First line, "Please don't delete this." She said the party seemed like harmless fun, just a joke. She didn't know the crown would cut deep. Thought I could take it, like always. She apologized. Said she'd been texting, posting, calling. But this time she didn't try to justify anything. She ended with, "You were the one holding us together and we let you disappear. I'm sorry, Dad. I miss you." I didn't reply. Not yet. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much. So I saved the email and kept writing. Because the plan was already in motion. Not petty revenge. Not slashed tires or drained accounts. I mean clean, undeniable, against the brick wall, arms crossed like she wasn't sure whether to knock or run. She looked smaller than I remembered. Not physically, but like life had chipped away at some of the sharpness she used to carry. I stopped a few feet away. Max trotted up to her and wagged his tail. She bent down, pet him absently, then stood. "Hi," she said. "Hey." I didn't know where else to go. I nodded toward the studio. "You want to come in or just talk here?" She followed me inside, took a seat on the worn-out couch I'd salvaged from a yard sale, and looked around. "It's not what I expected," she said. "I thought you'd be, I don't know, in some high-rise with leather couches and stainless steel." I smiled. "I don't need that stuff. I just need peace." She looked down at her hands. "I'm sorry, Dad, for not seeing it, for acting like you were just being dramatic when you were tired all the time. I thought you were just being old and grumpy. You were young. That's what kids think. I'm not a kid anymore." I sat across from her. "No, you're not." There was a long silence, the kind that used to feel awkward but now just felt necessary. Then she said, "They're still blaming you, you know. Mom and Jeff. They say you abandoned us." I didn't abandon anyone. I stopped letting myself be abandoned. She nodded slowly. "I think I get that now." We talked for a while after that. Not about everything. Not yet. But enough. I didn't offer to fix her problems. I didn't ask her to choose sides. I just listened. And when she left, I gave her the box of biscuits for the road. Max watched her drive off, then curled up next to me like he knew something important had just shifted. That was the beginning of something new. Not a reconciliation, not yet, but a bridge. And after years of carrying everything on my back, just seeing someone take a step toward me without expecting me to catch them, that felt like the first breath after being underwater too long. Against the hood, hoodie up, arms crossed. Same look she had when she was a teen, and I told her she couldn't go to that concert on a school night. I froze right there. She looked up. Hey. Max gave a soft bark and trotted over. She knelt and rubbed his head. He remembers me. Better memory than most people. She flinched, just barely, then stood. I didn't tell Mom I was coming, she said. I had to see you. I didn't know what to say. So I just motioned for her to come up to the studio. We sat in silence a long time. I offered her coffee. She took it black. No sugar. Same as me. Made me smile a little. Then finally, she said, I didn't get it before. Not really. I thought you were just being dramatic leaving like that. But now... She stared down into the coffee. Now Mom cries every day. Not 'cause she misses you, because the credit card debt's out of control. Jeff won't stop drinking in the basement. The house is freezing and she can't figure out how to fix the thermostat. She looked at me. She misses the perks of you, not you. I didn't say a word. I let her speak. And I think I was turning into her, she whispered. Mocking you, shrugging off everything. I didn't know how much I counted on you until you were just gone. She glanced around, books on the desk, Max curled up, a half-done puzzle on the coffee table. It's not fancy, she said, but it feels more like home than our place ever did. That hit me hard. I leaned back, arms crossed, not sure what to say. I didn't want to comfort her. Not yet. I wanted her to sit in that feeling, like I had to for years. But then she asked what I wasn't ready for. Are you coming back? I looked out the window, rain ticking against the glass. Breathed in. Breathed out. I don't know, I said. But I'm not done yet. She didn't push, just nodded, stood. At the door, she paused. I hope someday I earn the right to be part of your life again. Then she left. I stood there a long time. The next morning, I called Arthur. It's time, I said. Let's go to court. What happened next? That changed everything. 3 months later, I stood outside the courthouse in the one decent suit I owned, the same, one I wore to Olivia's graduation when I still thought what I did mattered. My palms were dry, breathing steady. Funny, I thought I'd be nervous. But I wasn't. Not anymore. I wasn't that man who brushed off insults and apologized for existing. I'd taken 3 decades of being sidelined and forged them into something solid. This wasn't revenge. It was reclaiming. The courtroom wasn't full. A few bored lawyers, a sleepy clerk, and across the aisle, Marlene, dressed like some grieving wife in a Hallmark film. Black dress, crocodile tears. She looked at me like she couldn't decide if I'd ruined her life or if I was the tool she'd just misplaced and now desperately needed again. Her lawyer spoke first, said I'd abandoned them, that she gave up her career for the family, that our daughter was left emotionally wrecked. Marlene dabbed at her eyes like it was scripted. I kept my face still. Then Arthur stood. Calm. Precise. He laid it all out. Years of financial support backed by spreadsheets, photos, texts, family events I paid for, Jeff's debt I covered, the tuition, the car, the groceries, the bills. He even submitted the King of Letdowns crown into evidence and read the posts that followed. And then he said the line that stuck. My client didn't abandon his family. He stopped playing a role where he was always the joke and never the hero. Marlene tried to jump in, said it was just a joke, just context. But the judge cut her off. In the end, the court ruled for me. House would be sold. Proceeds split 70-30 in my favor due to financial proof. Marlene's alimony request? Denied. Judge said she hadn't made any effort to work, despite being able-bodied. Her claims of emotional neglect? Dismissed. No proof besides her own words. Jeff? Ordered to repay me $18,000. I knew I'd never see a dime, but that wasn't the point. The point was the record, that it mattered, that I mattered. Outside, Marlene caught up to me. "This isn't fair," she snapped, voice shaking. "You made me look like a monster." I looked her dead in the eye, for the first time in years. "You didn't need my help for that." She flinched like I'd slapped her, then turned and walked. A week later, I signed the final papers, took my name off the house. I wired Olivia the money to pay off her car, with a condition. She'd handle payments going forward. She agreed. No fight. We kept in touch, not daily, not even weekly, but she started calling, not to ask for things, just to talk, to tell me about her day, her job, her thoughts. Once she asked for advice. That one nearly broke me. I stayed in Ashbrook, still walk Max every morning, still drink diner coffee, still read books I never made time for. Picked up a part-time job fixing old electronics. Doesn't pay much, but it's enough, more than enough. 'Cause it doesn't cost me myself. One evening, Olivia showed up again. Brought peach cobbler from Rosie's. We sat on the porch, legs swinging off the edge. "You're not who I thought you were," she said. "You're more. I just didn't see it until you stopped letting us treat you like you didn't matter." I nodded. "I wasn't angry when I left. I was just done." She smiled a little. "I'm glad you were, 'cause now I actually get to know you." The sun dipped behind the hills, long shadows stretching across the street. "You think you'll ever move back?" she asked. I smiled and shook my head. "I'm already home." Because home, now I knew, wasn't where people wanted me to be. It was where I could finally be myself. And after 50 years, I finally was.